What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus, Two Shots Dominguez, and joining me tonight, it's Chris, Statsman Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. All right, in honor of the Knicks-Hawks trade that just happened earlier, or late, about a week ago at this point. 5 days ago. Thank you, Titus. Knicks traded their former 9th overall first-round pick, Kevin Knox, to the Hawks, obviously for Cam Reddish, and there's a bunch of other stuff that happened in there as well. But this helps create the keep the tradition alive of the Knicks not signing a first-round draft pick to a second contract since Charlie Ward, former Heisman Trophy winner in 1994, when he was. So it's been a while. It's been a while since the Knicks have signed a first-round pick to a second contract within their team. Obviously, Porzingis is still in the league. David Lee was still in the league with the Warriors. There's been some guys, but never with the Knicks for a second contract term.
That is a long-ass time. I remember Charlie Ward. He was on that 99 team. The lawn boss is out with knee soreness tonight. He is like our hero, Zach LaVine. He is sitting out tonight, but he'll be back with us next week. But making us sound delicious is Dove Chocolate. It's our one and only producer, Adam the Professional Bruns. How are the levels tonight, Adam?
They are above par.
Ooh, above par. A new
is that a shot
system.
at Joey? Shot at Joey. Wow.
He was a Greens boy. Is that what they call those people that carry the bags? Was it a Greens boy?
A
caddy.
A cat.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like,
I was making a joke for myself and for Joey later when he listens to this. So I'll call him a Greens boy. All right.
Bad.
We still got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to go around the league a little bit. We're going to talk about the Bulls, who are having a rough go of it, to say the least, over the last 4 games since we last had a podcast. And we're going to make our all-star picks. We're going to do something else, but with Joey, when he tweaked his knee, we had to change the last minute. We'll do that segment next week. But me and Chris will give you our all-star picks, our selections for the starters. Voting's still going on. We're still trying to get our Chicago Bulls in there. And then the game is coming up on the 18th or the 20th, right? That's the weekend, 18th to 20th of February. So that'll be fun time.
Yes, sir.
All right, man, let's go around the league real quick. Chris, I don't know how many games you caught. I didn't catch a ton of other games besides the Bulls, but I did catch, a few of the highlights over the week. Warriors in particular and the Suns. Warriors get housed by the Bucks, and the Timberwolves beat Detroit, who everybody's beating. And then the Suns had 3 big wins over the Spurs, Pistons, and Pacers. Booker going off, looking ridiculous, man. He had 48, 30, and 35 in the last 3 games. But we'll start with the Warriors. The loss to the Bucks, that got out of hand real fast. I think it was about the second quarter. They were down 30 points or something. I think they finished
63-30 at one point. It was wild.
Yeah, it was bad. They ended up losing by, I think about right around 20. It was 118, 190 or 99. Almost the exact same score for them against the Timberwolves, 119-99. They seem to, if they score under 100, that they lose the game.
That's a stat.
That's a stat. I know against the T-Wolves, he said no Steph, no Green, no Draymond against the Bucks, which probably was a big deal because nobody could seem to stop Giannis. That was the thing I was seeing. That Giannis was all over the place. Portis was all over the place. Yeah, kind of a weird loss because then they came in to Chicago the next day and absolutely housed us with basically the same lineup. Did Clay play against the Bulls or no? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, he didn't
play. Yeah, so that was just Steph. I don't know exactly what happened. So
that was just a team on him. Poole did a lot there. Wiggins was a good team effort there.
I think they were on fire.
Kaminga got 25.
Kaminga, yeah, that was.
Oh my god,
really good, man.
He's really coming into it, man. Kaminga's coming around.
He's coming. Any games you watch?
Around.
He's coming around.
Kamingaing.
It's going to be a loose one tonight with me and Chris. What'd you have your eye on this week, Chris?
All right, yeah, like a lot of what you said with the Warriors. Always keeping an eye on the Warriors, especially because I remember. Okay, preseason picks. I like the Warriors early, and I remember I'm gonna listen to it back in the pod. But I remember saying in the pod, being like, all right, they're gonna get Clay back, and they're gonna be worse. I remember.
Yeah,
it's because their schedule gets harder. And obviously with Minnesota, well, they lost Minnesota, but with Detroit and they got Indiana and Houston coming up, it's like maybe it's not that hard, but they're they got Utah, they got Milwaukee, Memphis. Obviously,
Memphis is tough.
smoked them. But with that Milwaukee game, my favorite thing with the Milwaukee game is the announcer when I was watching the highlights. So I caught the game a little bit, but then with the highlights, the announcer mentioned how I think Bobby Portis already had 6 points and Curry hasn't taken a shot yet. And that like kind of summed the game up for me, where it's like the Bucks just came out and we're like, we are the NBA champions.
They were ready to go.
And here is where so fear the deer is basically.
And there was no Drew Holiday in that game. The other thing that's weird right now in the league, it feels like we're in the kind of the dog days of the league, or of the season, I should say. A lot of guys out with COVID, a lot of guys out with injuries, weird results. Like you said, we had that, the blowout loss for the Warriors against the Bucks. They come in the next night, missing even more guys, and then blow the Bulls out, who are again shorthanded right now. That was the game Zach LaVine went out in. But yeah, it was just kind of some weird finals.
That's true. Yeah, and like Grayson Allen and Wesley Matthews were the backcourt starters. Jordan Nwora, he's a guy that's on the radar. He's one of my Carbonara effect players that I will introduce next week because I still need a few more players on that roster. But I watched him and he looks pretty good. But in this game he didn't do much. But he's still a guy to trust. DiVincenzo, they're both kind of like the same breed. But it's kind of funny. The big three with the Bucks right now is Giannis, Middleton, and Bobby Portis. It's just to see that like Bobby Portis is gonna get paid, man. Like he's going to Sacramento for like $70 million. It'd be crazy.
He's been playing really good after he gets his second ring with Milwaukee.
After his second ring, right? Are they the front runners right now? Especially Durant's out right now.
Then we have all the injuries going on. So we have Zach is going to be out for it's not as bad as what we initially thought. We can get to the Bulls here in a little bit. KD, I totally forgot about the KD injury that he's out 4 to 6 weeks, I believe is
at least
the tentative timeline right now. So let me see. We got a comment in the stream.
We got Baskets with a question.
Wow,
what a question, Adam. Maybe you can get in. All right, we're gonna address this one now.
Well, yeah, let's see what it is.
If you could create a team to join the NBA, what would you name the team and why? That is such a thought-provoking. All right, what do you got?
Where would the team be?
Anywhere. Pick your city. Yeah,
pick a city, any city.
Does every city, or I'm sorry, not every city. Does every state have a team?
No. There's only 30 teams. There's
only 30 teams. Yeah.
So which ones don't?
It doesn't really matter because California has like.
You could pick one of those states then.
California has like 4 teams.
Yeah, California has 4 teams. LA has 2 teams.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this one real quick. My team would be in Corpus Christi. They'd be the Corpus Christi redfish.
Wow.
Yeah, I just like redfish, the species of fish. Big fisherman over here. And I would want to own the team, and I would want to live in Corpus Christi.
It feels like I'm shocked how quickly it's like you've been thinking about this one for a while.
I've been thinking about Corpus Christi for a while.
But it sounds like a good G League kind of team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The G League, we get relegated up to the or not relegated, whatever the opposite of relegated is, to the NBA, and we become the Corpus Christi Redfish. I'm good with that.
Go fish.
Go fish. Oh, that's good. Actually, I like that.
That's so good.
I got my whiskey here for Joey.
I don't know. Maybe the Alaskan Tic Tacs.
Go fish. The Alaskan Tic Tacs.
These are so good.
There you go.
I've just been thinking about Las Vegas because Vegas
imagine that, like Tic Tac Stadium.
Tic Tac Stadium. There you go. We're in the Tic Tac Arena. Stay fresh.
With our dodgeball team in high school, where were we?
Oh yeah.
We weren't Were we Mean Machine? I don't know. I'm getting off topic.
Yeah,
we're loose.
We're loose. All right, so let's get back on track. We're going around the league. Anything else from the week you want to talk about? I do want to get into the Suns a little bit, just of how.
Let's talk about the Suns. That talks about the Pistons as well because they played each other this week.
You said you had some Pistons thoughts. So
bring up your Suns first. That's a more important team.
So the more, what I said last week is I've really been watching with the eye on the playoffs, and it's kind of where I'm starting to how I'm starting to watch the games now, or the teams I'm focusing on too. The teams that are going to be in the playoffs. Nothing has shaken me off my opinion that the Suns are going to win the title this year, and I think that they should be the runaway favorite. I think that the best team in the league right now. They've been the best team in the league almost all year, except for Golden State had some pretty solid a couple of months there. But with Booker playing the way he's been playing recently, in particular those last 3 games, like I said, 48, 30, 35. I mean, the guy is on fire right now, and if he's playing that way going into the playoffs. And if they're healthy, I know Ayton was out with a right ankle sprain, but if they're healthy going into the playoffs, I think they're going to be almost untouchable. I think they have one of the most complete teams in the league, and I'll be curious to see if anybody can really match up with them in a 7-game series. But they beat the Pistons pretty handily, just like everybody has been doing. So what were your thoughts on the Pistons?
Okay, the Pistons game was a little telling. I got the Pistons at plus 11.5. It's a lot of points. At Detroit, guys.
At Detroit, come on, wow.
Detroit. Have some respect for yourself.
Some respect.
Detroit Pistons. Ayton went out 7 minutes into the game. He was 3 for 3 at 6 points. He was looking fine, plus 7.
Yeah.
JaVale McGee comes into the game, just completely torches the Pistons. Pistons' tallest guy, Isaiah Big Stu Stewart, 6'9", nothing on the 7 foot tall, 7'5" wingspan JaVale McGee, getting 20 points in this game with 6 boards. Even Bismack Biyombo made an appearance. I forgot Bismack Biyombo. I didn't realize he was still getting contracts in this league. He's in Phoenix. It's the third option.
Minutes in Phoenix.
He's getting minutes, 7 points, plus 7, 13 minutes.
Yeah, him and JaVale played really good against the Spurs too.
Oh, he got 17 against the Spurs.
Yeah.
I remember Bismack Biyombo against in Toronto against LeBron, and he got 20 boards, and he actually won Toronto the game. That's when Toronto went up 2-0 on Cleveland, and then LeBron said, yeah, we're going to win the next 4 or something like that, like some ballsy-ass thing that he did that you lived up to.
LeBron, that's what happened.
Yeah, LeBron, that's kind of probably where it was born.
That's where it was. I believe that's the series that was born.
Yeah. And then, so Phoenix, so my thing with Phoenix, they're kind of the new San Antonio Spurs. They're a very well cohesive team. Yeah. Ayton is arguably the best player on that team, even though you see Booker dropping 48 points in some games and maybe 15 others. Chris Paul is obviously a great veteran presence. Michael Bridges does everything off the ball and plays a great defensive with those long ass arms.
Just very complete.
And they have a pretty deep bench. The team is fantastic. There's nothing to hate about the Suns, but besides the fact that I don't trust Booker enough to like, if I need a bucket, if I'm gonna really need to win this game, there's not really that many guys like that. Like I really trust to like really go out and win it. And I also just don't like Booker that much. He's kind of ever since the video with him and with Noah in the pickup game where he's like, "Don't double team me." I don't know if you remember that video.
No, I don't remember that.
Like, yeah, he had a
he's
thing
yelling
about
at mascots. He doesn't want to get double teamed.
Oh, that was another thing. He's come on, man. Like,
no, you know what that
is? Buds with the mascot, but
a fair point you bring up, because that was a question as I'm watching. Like, he's playing great. I'm like, if he is playing at this level, they're a very scary team. But for instance, in the 48-point game, he had 44 with about, I think it was like 6 or 8 minutes left in the fourth. And that was when they kind of blew it wide open. So like he kept him in it. He was definitely the guy early on in the game that was keeping it close. But when they finally blew him out, it was Chris Paul, it was Mikal Bridges, it was all their other guys were playing well. He didn't really necessarily close out the game or whatever, but so I can see kind of maybe where you're talking about. Even some of the stuff he was getting was, it wasn't like he was creating a lot of his own shots. He was, just getting good looks.
Still Chris Paul's team, right?
Yeah, still Chris Paul's team. Like it does feel like that. Like I think it's going to go as far as Chris Paul goes, and he feels a lot like maybe it actually feels really similar to the Zach and DeMar dynamic here, where yes, Zach is maybe the better player, but everybody kind of is consensus that it's DeMar's team.
100%.
And that if the shot is, who's taking the last shot, it's going to be DeMar. Maybe that can kind of transition this year, unless you got some more thoughts on Pistons or anything else.
I got a couple thoughts on the Pistons. All right.
Go ahead.
I didn't even mention
Pistons. Yeah, we didn't even get to them. Yeah.
Pistons obviously did not cover that 11.5 point spread. Then they played the Warriors 2 days later. 15.5 points. They lost by 16. So Detroit, I did not bet on you the second time because I did not trust you after what you did at home against Phoenix. A couple highlights with Detroit, and this is probably the last time I'll talk about Detroit this year. Me saying that means I'll probably talk to them every other week now. But Cade Cunningham is for real. That guy's very talented.
Yes,
he is awesome. He shoots pretty well off the ball too. He made a couple threes off the dribble. I didn't really expect that from a guy 6'6", especially at age 20 like him. Diallo is fun to watch. The high flying acrobat guy we saw in the dunk contest a few years ago. He's still pretty good. Other than that, Sadiq Bey, he's on and off. Isaiah Stewart, they're kind of overrated. And I just need to get off this team. Corey Joseph did well in this game. Trey Lyles had some moments. Luke Garza, Cassius, they're all doing things, but nobody cares. And
they're
not a team. Like,
you wonder how many guys are in that, like, going to be in the nucleus going forward. Like, obviously it's Cade, but like, is Sadiq Bey really going to be a piece going forward?
Right. They talk about Bey and Isaiah Stewart as well. Those are the three. But like, really, it's probably just Cade.
It's probably just Cade. Yeah.
And I'm just frustrated with this team because I thought they'd go over because I'm like over on their win total because Cade's the first overall pick. Usually teams
he started slow.
After that. Yeah, and I thought he was more like. No, he's just starting slow. That's it. He's fine. He's good. The team around him is garbage.
Yeah.
And they're kind of doing it right though, because it's better to be bad than, what New Orleans tried to do is trade for Drew Holiday right away and win now. That was an awful decision. But I'm just a little frustrated with Detroit still because they have guys I like. They're just not.
And maybe we can see where they're at in 2 or 3 years. You can look at a team like Memphis, who is has a young core and a nucleus that is really coming together, and Ja is really showing out recently, and they're moving up in the standings.
Oh, that's the perfect example. Yeah.
So can Cade have that kind of impact on Detroit? Who knows?
Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. was drafted the year before Ja Morant was. So
he looks good. He was blocking everybody against the Bulls.
For real.
So yeah, you ready to kind of talk some Bulls? They had a
Let's get into the Bulls talk.
Four straight losses. I got the Cavs game on now. They're up currently in the third quarter.
Up by 10. Okay.
Up by 10. Yeah, it just went to commercial here, so I didn't see the actual score. But the Cavs got some guys. We know that the Cavs are a tough team. The Cavs just beat the Nets. So, that was without KD, right?
Yeah.
But tough week for the Bulls. Lost to the Grizzlies. Lost to the Celtics in a close one. And then just absolutely rolled up by Golden State and the Nets on back-to-back nights. I'll say a little something here, and then we can kind of get your thoughts. I want to hear what you think. I don't want to use the word exposed, like they got exposed.
Sure.
Because of the injuries they're dealing with. They had, with Caruso out and Lonzo out. I don't want to judge it, but
they lost Derrick Jones Jr. a minute into that
Derrick
game
Jones Jr.
too.
Yeah,
I don't know what that matters, but yeah.
I feel like if this wasn't the Bulls and it wasn't a team I was locked into all year, that I might be saying like, hey, they got exposed as they're not as good as what we think they are. But so what do you think about that just in general? Do you think this is something? Should I maybe take my foot off the panic button or my hand off the panic button? Because I'm getting a little nervous. This last 4 games made me a little nervous. What do you think?
Honestly, the Brooklyn game, I got a little nervous after just because it was the big 3. Kyrie only got 9 points in that game. Deron Sharp got 20, and he's a guy that's been coming on. 29th pick out of UNC. He's 6'11". This guy's big. He's coming on for Brooklyn right now. So I'm a little concerned, and I've always been a little concerned. Okay. The Chicago's not beating Brooklyn, and no one's beating Brooklyn if Brooklyn has their full team, right? It's kind of like,
and they're playing that good. The way they were playing on it was last Wednesday night. It was the 9:00 start. Yeah, I don't know who's beating them if they have all their guys. I also kind of think that we have a Vooch problem. And I don't know what you think about it.
All right. I saw a couple things on Vooch this week. Did the Bulls lose the Vooch trade? Was a headline that came across now.
Oh, wow.
Is it more than just a slump at this point? Is he just not as good? Is he really a good stats by team guy? Like, is he a worse version of Paul Gasol in a way?
There's
just asking questions.
Yeah, you're just asking questions, man. You're being a good journalist right now. No, the stuff that. And this goes back to like the Mavs game, and then in particular against the Grizzlies, he is not good defensively at times, and he's my big worry in a 7-game series is that he is going to get picked on a lot, and I think it's glaring. I think we have a Vooch problem, and I will put the caveat in it when he's not that 3rd/4th option. So when the team isn't complete, so when they don't have Caruso and Lonzo out there kind of, holding down the perimeter, there's more responsibility on Vooch to rotate. There's more responsibility on him for him to help. And that's where he really struggles defensively and he gets carved up. I mean, the Grizzlies were getting to the lane and getting to the basket at will against him. And then offensively, when he's that second option right behind DeRozan, I think that's a problem. I think it gums up the offense. He misses a lot of those open shots, or not really open shots, but like just those close shots.
Yeah, a lot higher percentage shots are not going in.
Yeah, when he's a 3rd, 4th option, it's great. And I think it's the right load to have on him. When he's more involved in the offense, I don't like it. What do you think about that, man?
I agree with most of what you're saying. I think some of his inside stuff, it always looks ugly when it's missed. So I feel like that's why like someone like Jokic is always underappreciated because like he can look really bad at times, but then when he's looking great, he looks fantastic. People are just kind of like oversee it at this point. But with Vooch, I honestly am at a point with Vooch where I'm like, he just looks a step slower out there. He is 31, and I understand what it's like to be 31. You're a step slower than you were before.
That's cool.
But I don't know, man. Like, I didn't like the Vooch trade to begin with. So I'm a little part. I've been trying to like it, and he's shown some flashes, and I'm rooting for it to happen. But we definitely need another defensive presence in that offense. Someone like on the defensive end, someone like Serge Ibaka, who could be a buyout candidate right now because the Clippers can save $43 million in luxury tax if they trade Ibaka, which they should. And the Bulls should be prime candidates to sign him. And he could really help with that.
Yeah, that's a good defensive-minded guy. Yeah.
And to your point with the perimeter, I don't know if what you're explaining with without Caruso and Lonzo, the Bulls are getting exposed on the perimeter, and then it falls onto Vooch. Vooch, that's a good point, but also and Vooch is just kind of like an average defender.
Yeah,
he doesn't really step up. He can't make up for those perimeter mishaps.
It's just when I was especially this was really glaring to me in the Memphis game, and that's one of the games I watched a little closer this week. But Kobe was getting beat a little bit off the dribble, and then the other guy is Io, who's playing. He's playing great. He's a solid defender, but as a rookie, I think sometimes he, especially with those guys out, he gets put in positions that wouldn't normally be his responsibility, and it's a little over his head, and he does get beat. He makes a wrong read or something like that. And the thing is that Vooch is not going to clean that up for you. He's not a Rudy Gobert. He's not a Draymond Green. He is not going to help you on the back end. And it really shows when you don't have those top tier perimeter defenders who are kind of slowing things up, getting in passing lanes. That's when I think they dropped from, 11th or something in defensive efficiency down to 20th is the last I heard or last I saw. So the defensive rating is dropping a lot with those guys out. Yeah. I mean, Caruso's back tonight, and you're kind of seeing they're playing a little better here against the Cavs. But I'm just a little worried coming into the playoffs what roles Vooch is going to have. I mean, if everybody's healthy, it's going to worry me a lot less. But right now, seeing if they're not completely whole, I just don't know if they're going to overcome the defensive deficiencies that they have.
So, what's the worry? I don't know if I want to go into this too much. I want to move on. Talk about but with the worriness part, the Bulls are still the 3rd best team in the East at best, right behind Milwaukee and the Nets.
Yeah,
and they have Miami and Philadelphia close behind with Cleveland. They're in a battle with them right now, so that's the other team. It's this is kind of what we expected. This is best case scenario for Chicago.
Yeah, I mean it is.
We got DeMar and Vooch. It was kind of because these are guys that you can have them, but if you have them together, you're going to have a lot of fun with them for a couple of seasons. Yeah. That's kind of what we got going on here.
I think my worry just comes down to in a 7-game series when, the teams, obviously they see each other all the time, the game plan, that they're just going to hunt Vooch, and there's not a lot you can do. And if he gets taken off the court, I don't know who's behind him that's going to fill, who can you bring in defensively that can fill that role. And you can't really hide Vooch in that sense. And then I think if you're struggling on the defensive end, the Bulls not really having the 3-point shooting to keep themselves in it could be an issue against a Milwaukee or against a Bucks team when
that's
you
why
get down by
like
a lot.
Serge Ibaka. The more I hear about this, the more
I'm definitely gonna look into that here in the next week. See what
I want Serge Ibaka. Just give me Serge Ibaka. He can help with the Giannis problem. He can help with some size and defensive in the interior. He's obviously 32. He's a little old, but
I mean, you said Vooch is 31, so
yeah, right. But yeah,
and that would be like what you were talking about over the last couple of weeks, where they said he's a buyout candidate, or he's not going to be as expensive as a Miles Turner or as a Jeremy Grant. So you're not giving up a Kobe White, you're not giving up an Iowa or a Pat Williams.
Oh my God, let's get off the Jeremy Grant stuff. But
yeah. But like, so it's like if you don't have to give up one of those guys, and you get that guy that could potentially fill that role.
Yes,
all right.
100%.
And now you're like, all right, now we have a guy that's just coming in as a defensive stopper. He's getting, he's not going to be relied on to score. He's not going to be relied on for heavy minutes, but he's a guy that comes in, maybe for a quarter and a half or something, and just kind of, gives you a body, gives you some
we're not
fouls.
Sacrificing the future, trying to give up Pat Williams for fucking Jeremy Grant, who wants to be a number one scoring. He said he wants to be a number one scoring option and get paid 4 years, like $111 million. It's like,
sorry, bud.
Cool, man. Like, go to Sacramento. I don't know. Like, I don't know where that's happening for you. All right. I got a question in honor of Joey not being here. Bulls related.
This will be good.
I only want to bring up this question when he's not here because it's fun. Hey, Joe, if you're listening right now, I realize we just saw that your girl just went down. Congrats. 8:55 p.m. My girls have been down for 3 hours already, and they'll be asleep for a while. What up? But anyways, my question is Zach LaVine worth the Supermax contract this offseason? And obviously his contract is up. Is he worth it? Initial thoughts before I really... obviously, the Supermax takes up 35% of the team's cap. There are 9 current players that have the Supermax. I'll list them off for you. Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Rudy Gobert, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Russell Westbrook, John Wall, and James Harden. Those are the players currently on a Supermax. And if some things fall into place, Zach LaVine could be eligible for that this offseason.
My gut instinct is no.
Yeah, man. Dang it.
Did you want me to be yes? You want to be
this
yes?
This is kind of where let's just go no. Let's just go no. Let's have Joey, talk about
Joey
it.
He'll come back next week, but here's the thing. Like, you're going to have to pay him that money, which is like, I think I'm of two minds of this. I'm also not going to give him up. Like, I kind of understand the position the Bulls are going to be in. Like, so you said his contract is up this season.
Yeah.
He's up for the extension. He's going to get it. The Bulls are going to pay him. I think that they have to pay him. You're not going to let him walk. You can't trade him. So you're going to do what you're going to do. But this, to me, I would go, all right, you're going to give him the money and you're kind of locked in. I think your window becomes then this year, next year, and the year after with this team. And then after that, it's going to start to get tough.
There's like 2 dead years, it feels like, because that's DeMar's contract is kind of what you're saying, I feel like.
Yeah. It's when you name those guys, John Wall, Bradley Beal, that's to me what
I didn't mention Bradley Beal, but he's also up for the Supermax this offseason.
Okay, I thought you had.
There's talks around that. I mentioned Russell
Westbrook. Okay, so yeah, he's another good example.
Damian Lillard is a name I wanted to highlight here. Rudy Gobert.
Gobert's a mistake, but that's another one where like, what else are you gonna do? Like, you have to sign him because Gobert's your guy,
right? Yeah,
and I think teams get in trouble. I think you see that. I think particularly with Russell Westbrook and who's the other guy I mentioned?
John Wall. John Wall's the biggest, obviously, red flag. Another red flag, or sorry,
I would say that was kind of like,
yeah,
that's the situation you could get in with LaVine.
Another red flag I want to point out that I fear this is my pessimism with the Bulls. Okay, and my overall pessimism I've always had with Zach LaVine. A couple stats with Zach LaVine. He in the 5 seasons he's played with the Chicago Bulls, he's never played more than 63 games. Yes, I understand he was coming from an ACL tear. Yes, I understand there was a lockout where they did not play all 82. Still has not played more than 63 games in 5 seasons with the Bulls. And also, fun fact: this is his first season where his plus minus per 100 possessions is positive.
Oh wow!
At a plus 2.2. Could that be because of DeMar DeRozan though as well? Because obviously plus minus means more than just the player, even though it kind of isolates it. But like, I feel like there's a lot of DeMar DeRozan with this, and I'm still questioning if Zach LaVine is a winning player. That's where I'm at, and it's like I like the guy. I like the guy.
No,
I'm sorry.
I think what sucks is that this is the first time he's had a decent roster around him, and this is ever. I mean, it's in his 7 seasons, yeah. And I think the thing that I'm seeing is that I think there's going to be some growing pains with Zach. There's a lot of stuff I wish he wouldn't do during games, just like some of the complaining that he does, and just kind of he takes himself out of plays at times, doing that. I think it's stuff he's going to learn, he's going to pick up, but it's also a weird point in his career where that you're going to have to pay him like a superstar without him really getting to that superstar level yet. You know what I mean? I think all the potential's there. He could easily get there. I was thinking about it because I go back to that Grizzlies game when I was watching that, and we had talked last week about is would Ja be the best player in that series if they matched up and all that stuff. And to me, like I look at a guy like that and I go, he's younger, he's maybe not at the level Zach is currently, but like to me, I go, Ja is special. Like he's one of those players that he is absolutely special, and he's going to be a superstar in this league. Zach has the potential and has the talent. I just don't know if he's that. I don't think he's that special. I don't think he's a Giannis type. I don't think he's a Steph type. I don't think he's a KD, a Ja Morant type. I think he's that tier down.
What is it though? So like Zach LaVine, he does one of the rare things in the league where he can hit the three like nobody else, and he can also get to the rim and dunk like the best in the league. What is this guy missing? Is it ball handle? Is it just this aware? Is it like this mental piece of it? I don't understand. Why do we look at Ja Morant better?
It might be the mental thing. Ja, the thing is that to me, I think it's like the gravity of the player. So there's certain things like when you watch Steph, when you watch Ja, when you watch Giannis, like those are players that come to mind off the top of my head, or even like KD. He's another guy. Those guys just draw so much attention, and they change the game for everybody that's playing with them. Zach has a ton of skill. He's like I said, he has every facet of the game you can want. Just for some reason, he just doesn't draw all of that attention. He doesn't change the game for the guys around him as much as those guys do, in my opinion. You watch a game like with Steph, guys are getting open because Steph is on the floor, even if he's not playing good.
That's the thing, man. And LaVine's pick and roll game is some of the poorest pick and roll I've seen. He's played with Karl Anthony Towns. He's playing with Nikola right now, who Nikola I know is a better pick and roll. Kobe White's looking okay with Nikola in the pick and roll.
I mean, they should be picking popping guys to death too,
So I don't know. I'm a little frustrated with LaVine, even though he's having the best season of his career and he looks great. He is not worth the supermax. And my biggest fear with this Bulls team in the next 3 years is they're going to become the Blazers of the East with DeMar DeRozan, with like LaVine. That's it. That they're going to be the new Blazers. Damian Lillard's obviously on that supermax. And I don't know, man.
That's what I think. I think the window is this year and next year, in my opinion. Like for the Bulls, I think next
year's the window because Patrick Williams comes back
that's
fully healthy next year. Ayo has another year under his belt.
Yep.
Kobe's on the 4th year of the rookie, which is the golden year where a team can really win it. I think that Harrison Barnes was on the 4th year when the Warriors first won it. And I don't know, man. I think next year will be a telling year, and I don't know. But anyways,
because I think I was early in the season. We kind of debated like, do you trade everybody for the win now play or whatever? And you kind of were like caution, and I think.
Steve Carell, no.
The more I've thought about it, and as the season's gone, I think like early on the Bulls were looking so good that I was like, all right, you know what, we got to. This is your opportunity to win it. I'm thinking like the Toronto, of 2018 or 2019, whatever that year they won. But with like Kyrie coming back, getting worked in, Clay coming back and looking pretty much like Clay, and Phoenix looking as good as they're looking, and not really sure exactly what Milwaukee's going to be, but understanding that in the playoffs they're going to be good. I just don't think that this year is, in particular, it's going to happen. Like I don't think it's going to pop for them. I think this is the year you go. You get your playoff experience. Come back next year, like you said, healthy with a Pat Williams. He's the piece you're missing anyway. And you go, all right, next year and the year after are serious. We got to go win it now type of deals. And this year is that ramp up year. But I think the window is this year, next year, and the year after in particular. And then after that, I think it's going to start to fall off.
So right now, I'm just going to say the Bulls need to win the first round of the playoffs this year. Yes. And then if they lose, that's a success. The fourth best team in the East, that's fine. They're a successful season. That's how I'm looking at it. Do you have anything else you want to touch on? I have a couple other things I want to make sure I talk about.
I think I'm good to the Bulls. So yeah.
All right, Bulls. A couple things I forgot to mention. Jazz versus Lakers happened last night. Was it last night I watched it? No, it was 2 nights ago. It was on MLK. Was this a game we bet on? Oh shoot, I need to talk about our bets. We did not. Okay, hang on. Let me touch on the bets real quick. Then I'll talk about Jazz Lakers. Warriors versus the Bucks happened on the 13th. And the Bucks won, and Joey Adam and Anthony King James are the winners there. Good job, Adam. Grizzlies versus the Bulls. Congratulations, Titus. You were the only Grizzlies one there.
Ja Morant, I'm on my Grizzly.
I don't know if that really means it's a great thing by you. Cavs Nets. I went Cavs. Oh, we were split on this. Adam, Richie, and Anthony went Nets, and then the OG3 went Cavs. So great job by us, guys. But what I wanted to touch on. That's why we have a podcast,
guys.
That's why we got the pod. That's why we're the hosts of this podcast. But what I want to touch on is the Jazz Lakers, because a couple weeks ago I did mention how the Jazz, everyone likes the Jazz right now. Jazz are a contender. They're a tier 1 team. No, they are not anywhere near a tier 1 team. This team has 3 guys 6 feet tall that can average 20 points a game. Great. Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, and Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson won 6th Fan of the Year 2 or 3 times. I don't care. I don't care how many times this guy's won it. You can't have 3 guys over 6 feet tall. When the only guy that's done that is Isaiah Thomas, and that's because he had like 2 brutes with him under there. So Utah, man, you guys can use a few more tall shooters. The other guys on this team besides Rudy Gobert, Bojan Bogdanovic, Joe Ingles, Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay is still in this league, guys. Did anybody know this? He's been in there for 15 years.
Has he got a 10-day?
Minutes. Royce O'Neal, he's the other guy. They don't have, Derek Favors obviously didn't work out for them when they drafted him 3rd overall or 2nd overall. So it's basically just Rudy. It's just Rudy Gobert. Without him, this team is lost. So I understand the Supermax contract for Rudy Gobert. The thing is, LeBron before this game was saying, "Don't worry." Like he said something along the lines of, "Don't worry, we're gonna win this game tonight." He called it. It was kind of like we need to go out and win. He's frustrated. We need to win this game. And the Lakers looked great early. They're dominating for the most of it, but then the Jazz are up with 8 minutes left. They're up by 9, and then LeBron gets an and 1. Excuse me.
You need a break here? Well,
I'm just really excited.
Take a break.
But because breathe. The Jazz are up 9 with 8 minutes left. And LeBron gets an and 1. Obviously, hits it. They're up by 6. And then Stanley Johnson, who's currently on a 10-day Detroit draft. I forget where he's out of. He was drafted like 9th overall. He finished the game with 15 points, 7 of 9, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. This guy got, I'm pretty sure, 8 of those points during those last 6 minutes of the game. That guy was just cooking. That guy is staying on that team for the rest of the season. He is playing that role that Taylor Horton-Tucker is supposed to be on that team. He's just not delivering it. Another fun fact in this game, another fun thing that happened in this game, Austin Reeves did a Caruso-like tip-in, and he just a hustle kind of play. The bench guys on this team only played 4 fewer minutes than the 4 guys who started for this team. And that's really a testament to guys like, Dwight Howard and Russell Westbrook, who are future Hall of Famers. They're losing minutes to Austin Reeves and Stanley Johnson.
That's tough, man.
Fun fact with this game, Russell Westbrook did not come back in until 3 minutes left. He looked okay. He got in 1 to help seal the game a little bit. But man, LeBron literally put the team on his back. This was a clear LeBron performance. He's the only guy that played 30+ minutes on this team. That's an insane stat. Now, that doesn't happen. More guys play 30+ minutes for a team than just one player. That's not a thing. And that's what happened in this game. And that's why LeBron is still the best player in the league.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, come on. Like,
We don't disagree with that, KD.
KD's hurt. What are we talking about?
He's out for like 6 weeks. Now that you bring that up, unless you had anything else, we can touch on. I can run through the All-Star starters that I'm thinking and kind of what you thought.
No, we can move on. I'll keep bringing up the Lakers are better than the Jazz, and Lakers should be a tier 1 team in future
I'll
pods.
touch on it real quick with you. The Jazz are a team I'm not afraid of at all. I'm not worried. They're not a team I'm even considering as a title contender. I think that they're in that realm based on their statistics and their standings. But as far as like, I'm just like when you do it. But until then, I'm not considering you a real contender. But you mentioned LeBron, who's playing out of his head recently, kind of carrying him to that win. He moved into my All-Star starters. I didn't have him on my list for the first couple of voting returns that I did, but now I'm having to put him in. So I'll start with the West. These are my 5. I have Ja, Steph, Gobert, Jokic, and LeBron. And then in the East, I have DeMar, Harden, Giannis, KD, and Embiid. Thoughts?
The East is fine.
Yeah.
I a week or two ago, I would have been a little argumentative on Levine over Harden.
Me too. I had Zach on.
I think because of the injuries, honestly, is kind of why it's flipped.
Injuries. And Harden's been playing better.
Yeah, Harden's been fine. They just beat the Wizards tonight. Well, that's the Wizards, whatever. The West. What do you think? There was one thing in the West. Who's the guy you thought?
Ja, Steph, Gobert, Jokic, and LeBron.
You had Gobert and Jokic. Who would even be the other guy?
Draymond was the other guy that was in the mix for me.
Yeah, no.
But no, I couldn't have him and Gobert. So that's what LeBron took his spot. I'm trying to think of some other front court guys. I mean, I don't. There's not a ton of Luka, but Luka's a guard, and I'm not putting him in over Steph. And personally, I wouldn't put him in over Ja. But I could see him maybe an argument there.
Steph and Ja. No, it's still Steph and Ja. I thought maybe Luka's. I always want to put Luka as a forward because he's so big. But honestly, if you watch any Dallas Mavericks game, he's always point guard. Doesn't matter. Like he's always the main guy. And that's why the positional thing is kind of silly.
Yeah, I would like to. Well, that'd be weird. I wonder if you just did the 5 best players, what that would look like.
Yeah,
that would get interesting.
We can talk about that, but I don't think I have any. Oh man, I want to say something like Paul George is hurt. There's no one.
Yeah, there's nobody. I mean, do we talk about like a Booker?
No.
Wiggins.
No, that's it. That's the whole, like Draymond maybe, but like really Gobert and Jokic should be on that roster as well. Like that's even though they're both centers, just put them both in the front court. Like make one a power. It doesn't matter. Like,
I want to make one the power forward.
Those are the guys. I don't know. Man, I wanted to argue more.
Yeah, I thought we have a little more debate on that, but really it's pretty. I think it's pretty cut and dry with the starters. If those 10 don't get in, I mean, maybe
DeRozan, Harden,
Giannis,
LeBron, KD. Okay, you might get some Atlanta friends. I think we've got an Atlanta download once or twice. Trae Young is obviously having a great year, but Harden's got the wins, so it's like
their record is so bad.
Trae defensively is just so exposed constantly.
Yeah,
and Clint Capella is not the guy to help clean that up. I don't know, man. It's pretty.
He's never making the conference finals again.
You never doing it twice, man. Yeah, great comeback. Oh, you never doing it twice.
We're never doing it twice, but you can't do it again. Yeah, that's a fun take. But all right, so there's not much there then. I think
Bulls are going to win. Lauri Markkanen got 28 so far. Might get 30. Wow. Bulls are going to beat the Cavs. Good job by you guys.
Good job, guys. Well, there's still a minute and a half left. We'll see. I mean, they're up 11. So
they're up 11. Anything else we want to touch on? Adam, you got any hot takes about life, music, sports?
We'll do music.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have anything of interest for this podcast.
No, just anything at all. What's on your mind?
I mean, I have I don't know.
Oh, we need to.
As far as what?
Oh, so we need to touch on this. I thought it was a coat, but this hoodie that Zach Levine is wearing. Whew, what is that? Sheepskin?
Okay, he's a little flamboyant with his outfits.
That was I don't know what that was. That was it's like a cream fleece or something. I thought it was I thought it was a jacket, like a full on.
I mean, to be fair, with the weather that we're about to have tomorrow, I don't care what kind of jacket I'm wearing as long as it's warm.
It was warm. I was like,
is it going to be like a negative 100?
Supposedly.
It's going to be cold.
We live in cold climates here, guys.
You know what? I think since we're talking weather, I think we can go ahead and call it.
we the North. Wait.
We the North.
Even though Toronto's like the third. Anyways, let's get off. I'm going fun fact nerdy at this point.
Fun fact nerdy. That's what we do around here. Well, that is it for us tonight. Join us next week. We'll have the full squad back with the Lawn Boss to talk more NBA basketball. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Slide into those DMs. Join us live on Wednesdays around 8:30. Send us an email to theboxoutboys@gmail.com. And as always, like, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to this at now. We very much appreciate it. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Titus. Until next time, Box Out. Happy birthday, Mac.